So the next game that we have is the Commanders versus the 49ers. The 49ers are the favorite, -7 favorite right now, I believe. And I kind of see this game playing out the 49ers just running the Commanders out of the game early on. And I mean, we saw what the Giants were able to do with them, what Saquon Barkley was able to do. I don't think it's going to change anything. I don't think Christian McCaffrey's not going to be able to do anything short of that. Um, and then on top of that, I mean, Brock Purdy's been playing pretty good. He's been playing pretty damn good. He's making a lot of great throws, making a lot of right reads, getting rid of the ball quick. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how this whole situation pans out. I think when you look at it in totality, obviously the 49ers have a little bit less to play for, but it's weird because like we spoke about earlier, like the 49ers, they have a third string quarterback playing right now. So it's kind of like you want him to get those reps. You want him to get prepared for the playoffs, try to get him accustomed to just this whole team. 3 weeks in, you're still going to have some things that you're trying to pick up on some nuances, pick up on different coverages, blitz packages, things like that. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Also, the Commanders, they're I'm sure they want to make a playoff push. So yeah, I think the 49ers just take care of them though and put those hopes away.
Yeah, and the Commanders, like we said, they are still in the playoff hunt, right? Bad loss to the Giants because now if you have the same record as them, they're gonna hold that tiebreaker over you,
Mm.
but they can still beat out some of these other teams to get that last playoff spot. Or if the Giants, completely fall to pieces there, you could still be in position to get the spot over them. But yeah, I tend to agree with the 49ers coming out and doing what it takes here. Like you said, the Giants, they're able to run the ball and play defense. I mean, nobody's better than running the ball and playing defense than the 49ers. Even worse, you have Nick Bosa coming trying to
Oh yeah,
destroy
right.
your quarterback. He's in the defensive player of the year talk. Good luck to Taylor Heineke because he might get slammed. Um, and yeah, look, you know, we talk about the 49ers maybe not as much to prove as the Commanders, but I'm sure Brock Purdy thinks otherwise. So the one
Nah.
benefit of having a guy like Brock Purdy is he's trying to prove himself in this league, right? Because every game that goes by, everyone's thinking the same thing. Oh, he was able to do it last game. Can he do it again? Oh,
Nah.
is he was able to do it last game? Can he do it again?
Yeah, when you have that chip on your shoulder with the defense behind you, it's just
Right.
like
And so for him, he needs to keep out and keep winning. He's making himself some money.
right.
Now he has to keep it going. He has to play at least to a certain level to keep the good play that he's done relevant towards his career and his future earnings because he's proven that no matter what happens after this year, whether
Right.
he stays with this team, whether he becomes a free agent, whether that happens, down the road at another point, however it may be, he needs to you know, keep his worth at a certain level so he could get paid for it. We've seen other guys come in and make fortunes stepping in for quarterbacks, and they never do a good thing again.
Nah.
But teams will at least trust you because they have seen some performance on the fields where okay, this is a product that I can invest in
Nah.
and think that they could be a halfway decent guy. But he seems to be somewhat of the real deal, right? He might be. I mean, oddly enough, Brock Purdy might be Taylor Heineke.
Nah.
He
Right,
might
right,
be.
right.
He might be that exact type of player where people are going to keep counting him out. But if you need a quarterback, he's a guy
He's the
that could
guy too.
start for you and he could do some good things for you. And he might not be the guy that you settle on as a franchise quarterback and give all the money in the world and build your team around. But if he can be a guy that could step in
Nah.
and keep things flowing, and you pay him some money to hang around and be able to help you out when you need him, I mean, you could
That's
have a
definitely nice.
very long career as a backup quarterback in the NFL with someone who with his kind of skills.
Yeah. I mean, you could look at the Josh McCowns and
Hmm.
the Fitzpatricks of the NFL and see how long their career has been, and
Mm,
it's like,
Nick Foles is still out here,
yeah,
you know.
exactly. I
So
think he's starting next week
all
too.
right,
So I mean that's definitely something to like we always talk about it. It's like, granted, yes, you want to be the star of the NFL, you want to, but there's beauty in knowing your role, and there's a lot of success in that. It's like, granted, yeah, you may play for 6 or 7 teams, but you may equate also to the contract of somebody that's getting all this long-term money to stay with one. So it's like, we'll see. But you know what I also thought with the 49ers situation is, with Jimmy G getting injured, obviously they brought him back for a year. We don't know what the status is, what the 49ers want to do with that situation. He was playing great up to when he just got injured. They've made it clear that Trey Lance is the future and they want to move forward with him. Who's to say maybe they move forward with Trey Lance, let Jimmy G walk, and he becomes the second string.
yeah.
And Trey Lance has to worry because he has some competition behind him. It's not no walk in the park kind of backup quarterback. This
Well,
guy has showed some guts and
I think
some
that's
play.
exactly what's gonna go on at this point. I think they've kind of made their decision on the whole Trey Lance versus Jimmy G thing.
Right.
I think, and I don't think there's any bad blood or
No, I
anything
don't
at
think there's
this
any
point.
ill
I
will.
think they're appreciative that Jimmy G was able to step in this year after they sent him away from the team to be able to come back and be a team player and be the quarterback that helps them to a pretty good year so far.
Nah.
But I think they've kind of already made their choice. I mean, you can't go back on the draft pick. You got Trey Lance there. You drafted him for a reason, unless they're going to admit, oh, yeah, we were wrong on this guy. He's not that good, which I don't see happening. Nobody really does that in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're going to stick with their guy, who is Trey Lance. But this time, it's going to be a lot easier to move Jimmy G if you're the Niners, because if people don't want to pay your asking price, you could take a little less maybe, and you still have Brock Purdy there, and you can keep Brock Purdy around. Brock Purdy is going to be a guy who can be there. It is probably not going to, well, we'll see how things go, but
Yeah.
it's probably not going to be a guy that's going to scare Trey Lance too much, but he keeps him in check,
Yeah.
because if he starts messing up,
He
the
starts
fans are
slipping,
going to be
then-
like, why we have this guy? Put in Brock Purdy. We saw what he did for us.
Nah.
So Brock Purdy might be the perfect solution for them, because I think if you keep Jimmy G, it's a lot louder
Yeah. for
whenever
sure.
something happens. Well, why are we not playing Jimmy G? Why are we not playing Jimmy G? With Brock Purdy, it's a lot less of that. But if things get too sideways,
Then
Brock
you gotta
Purdy's
go
there,
right with him.
and from a franchise perspective, you're able to say, all right, if Trey Lance gets hurt again, we know he's kind of a more of a mobile quarterback, this and that. If Trey Lance gets hurt again, or he starts to struggle, we can rely on Brock Purdy, who
Nah.
we're not paying a ton of money to, but he's shown the ability to lead this team. It's almost the perfect situation for the 49ers in
Yeah.
a way, because now you have the 3 quarterbacks. You still get to move one. You still get to keep 2. And if you keep Trey Lance as the starter, Brock Purdy as the backup, everything almost falls in place perfectly for that organization moving forward.
Right. So definitely interesting to see, and we'll be locked in obviously in the off season to see how this all pans out. So